What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Monoposto Driver Career Mode. Today we have episode number 84 and round 13 of the 2026 season, which, as you can see in the background, is taking place at the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore. If you missed a previous episode that took place at the Italian Grand Prix, then be sure to go and check that out, as I'm going to spoil it now. You may have been able to tell already from the title of the video that for the first time since the opening race of the season, the safety car made an appearance due to a crash between championship leader Alonso and the Mercedes of George Russell down at the first corner on lap number 2 or 3. And in the end, the safety car helped me out because I had to change my strategy. I pitted later than I would have done otherwise, and that meant that I got a massive undercut on some of the leaders and actually managed to come through from 10th on the grid to take my third victory of the season. So that was a very, very good drive from me. However, what was even more important is that it was a 1-2 for the team, with my teammate Esteban Ocon very nicely backing me up with a P2 finish, meaning that we have got some massive points in hand over Aston Martin. I think we're up to almost something like 70 points, I think, in the Constructor Championship, which is the biggest lead that there has been in this entire season. So we're coming into this race with a decent run of momentum, with some very nice results which have swung in our favour. So let's see if we can keep that going here today. And we've tried to do that with the best start possible, as I take, I think, my 4th pole this season. Not only that, but my teammate Ocon is in P3. Crucially, we're still ahead of both Aston Martins, with Alonso in 4th and Lance Stroll all the way down in P9. So as we head towards the race, which is of course taking place at night time, once again, both of our cars are in front of Aston Martin. Stroll's really struggled in the second half of the season. He's just been absolutely nowhere, just compared to his teammate especially. I think he's had more non-point scoring finishes than point scoring finishes. He's just absolutely fallen off a cliff. I don't know quite exactly what's happened to his form, because he was so strong at the start of the season. So now it's, Fernando Alonso, the wily old fox at the ripe old age of, what is he now, 45, I think, in 2026, still going strong, still in the championship hunt. Is flying the flag for his team Aston Martin. You might have noticed there, alongside me on the front row, is the Spaniard of Carlos Sainz for the Audi Sport team. New to Formula 1 this season, of course, and he was just under a tenth of a second behind me. So it's by no means a foregone conclusion. It was certainly not a dominant qualifying. So it's all to play for in Singapore. Lights out, and we're underway. It's a decent start off the line. Thankfully, a very short run to the first corner. Still going to go on the battery nonetheless. Starting on the softs to get a good launch, and that means that we can maintain the lead of the Grand Prix. Nicely does it as we go through turn number 3. Been a good start from my teammate Ocon on a harder compounded tyre than Sainz, who's managed to get himself up into P2, just strengthening our position in this Grand Prix even more. Although by the time we get to the end of lap number 3, here comes Fernando Alonso, the Aston Martin driver. Is all over the back of me, and finally I feel the need to make a defensive manoeuvre to the inside of turn 1, almost running it a bit hot there and going off piste, which is certainly what we don't want. He's just putting me under all sorts of pressure. Now I feel like I'm starting to crumble a little bit, which is a shame. Notice Sainz has also got back past Esteban Ocon, so now Fernando Alonso will get DRS. Will it be enough though? Thankfully I do seem to have a decent advantage. I don't have too much ERS though. I've had to use it in the last couple of laps to try and defend from the green car. Although now, as we move on to later in the lap, I've gone really deep and crashed into the wall. Oh my word, what on earth have I ever done there? I think it was just the tyre wear that started to kick in, and all of a sudden I just had no grip, and I just massively understeered straight into the barrier. I'm very lucky for, the wing to be intact, that I haven't got more damage, but I guess it just shows how quickly the tyres have gone off a cliff. So I'm coming into the pits at the end of the lap, although Alonso now has a 5-second penalty, which he didn't have before. Hold on a minute, does that mean Fernando Alonso caused that collision? Because I didn't feel any contact, I don't think. Obviously he's been putting me under pressure, but I didn't see the proximity arrow or anything, so I don't know if it was self-inflicted, but that to me suggests that Fernando Alonso played a role in the outcome of that. And maybe, did he put me in the wall? Did he cause me to go into the wall? Either way, I just need to get my head down, got some fresh tyres on, come out in plumb last in this race. So work to be done, starting off with a nice move in front of Jake Hughes. It's just not been a good year for Williams, has it? They've just really struggled, just seem to be off the back in every Grand Prix, and we've caught up to this little gaggle of cars now. This is Tsunoda, Sargent, the other Williams, who we're going to breeze past simply with DRS. In front of Yuki Tsunoda is the full performance car of Nick De Vries now, rounding in towards Sector 3. The Japanese driver again starting on hards. I think he had to take another grid penalty. Red Bull seemed to be committed to make him do a one-stop every race, putting pressure on him. We are going to dive to the inside. De Vries moves across, and then I've hit him and got a penalty. De Vries is into the wall, and he's out, and we have a virtual safety car. Okay, let me just try and digest what just happened. So we tried to go for the move on Tsunoda. I don't think I went too aggressively into the corner. I think it was definitely a dive bomb that was on because the space was there. However, De Vries just seemed to be going really slowly, and I just ended up possibly out-braking myself, and I hit him. Here's a replay. So we're definitely past Tsunoda. Oh, it's fractional contact there. Barely enough, you could argue. Almost unrealistic for him to go crashing into the wall like that, but I guess, as we saw with Fernando Alonso, maybe the slightest tap can lead a car to crash. Maybe that's just the way it is in this game, but either way, we've got to get our head down now. We've obviously got a 5-second penalty once again, so yeah, to be honest, there wasn't really much I could have done there. It could be argued that I could have possibly waited, but now there's a safety car. What's happened here? It's almost like oh my word, look at Zhou Guanyu, the Alfa Romeo Penske is completely at almost 90 degrees. I don't know how on earth that car's managed to get in that position, but okay, chaos is definitely unfolding here. I'm going to make a pit stop. I've decided, there's 8 laps to go. I'm going to come in so I don't have to stop again. Use the free pit stop. It looks like lots of other drivers have got that same idea. I'm going to go onto the hard compound tyres and play it safe, because we know that this circuit can be extremely harsh on the tyres sometimes. So on we go then to the hard compound. I was just saying, I've got to get my head down. It's an interesting collision with De Vries. Not much I could have done there really, because the move was definitely on, and then all of a sudden we cut, and there's once again a return of the safety car. And now this is something that I did notice that I wanted to include, is Alex Albon is driving unnecessarily slowly under the safety car, it seems. Obviously the game won't let me, but I was practically overtaking him on numerous occasions. Here's another one where I almost hit him there, and then in fact it almost looks like I am in front of him at this particular instance. So again, I'm not entirely sure what the tyre driver was doing there. And here's another one. This was at the start of lap number 8. So Albon, he just seems to be not really sticking to the back of Paul chair very easily, and or maybe the game's letting me over. See there, I was convinced I actually overtook the Mercedes driver, who's of course in my seat from last season. But it was just interesting to note with that, because I've never seen the AI behave like that before. And again, almost on the restart, I'm waiting to overtake him. So here we go then. Hard tyres on the car. Let's see what we can do then as we're gearing up towards the restart through the final corner. Now I get a chance to go on the battery. 2 DNFs, and the safety car has ended, but Albon's completely dropped me on the restart, although I want to go for the move up the inside straight away, because this guy was kind of annoying me under the safety car with the way he was driving. Going to take lots of curb there. Now back up onto the battery. Albon on fresh soft tyres. He's going to go for it. Here comes Stroll, the proximity arrow. Is he going to try and go around the outside? Oh, but we crashed and we're out. It's another safety car, and that's it. Game over. We are out of the Singapore Grand Prix. That is frustration there, that camera shake. And the safety car has returned barely after it had just gone back into the pits, because I've crashed completely by myself for the second time tonight. And all the composure I had, all the pace I had, has completely gone to waste to get pole position, because now I'm not even going to finish the race. And with Alonso leading and Ocon on the podium, that's a big moment. That's a huge turning point for this year's championship. I got distracted. It was Lance Stroll trying to go for a move around the outside of turn number 4 that distracted me, because I saw the proximity arrow flash up. So I thought I need to try and keep as much of the inside as possible in case he's going to fly around the outside, because of how quick the Aston Martin is on fresh soft tyres and how good the AI are off of restarts. I thought it was going to be a foregone conclusion that he would just try and fly around the outside straight away. So I thought I've got to leave him as much space as possible or he's going to hit me. And that's why I just completely ended up cutting the corner off and then smacked into the wall. So Yeah, that was still careless. Ultimately, I was thinking of the AI. I wasn't really thinking of my race, but unfortunately, that's a very bitter pill to swallow. What a rotten weekend this has turned into. And for the first time this season, I've failed to finish a Grand Prix at one of the most crucial times, it could be argued, with only 7 races remaining after this one. Anyway, we are now back underway. We're going to watch, of course, the rest of the race unfold. The safety car has only gone in again on lap number 13, so... yeah, it's absolutely mad. Once again, I see Yuki Tsunoda hasn't pitted. He's still on those hard tyres, and I think he's being put under pressure. Although, meanwhile, further up, that's Charles Leclerc going for a move on Oscar Piastri, the McLaren driver who's on the hard tyres, already lost the position to Schumacher off the restart. Now moving on to lap 14, though, and we are with Fernando Alonso, who is indeed checking out of this Grand Prix. He's got that 5-second penalty. He knows the job that needs to be done. 2.93 seconds already in front of Carlos Sainz. If he can drop him by another 2 seconds, then he should be able to win the Singapore Grand Prix and take his 4th victory this season. Ocon still nicely holding down 3rd, but it is going to be a tough job for him to catch up to Carlos Sainz and then, of course, perform that overtake, because the Audi Sport car is definitely the 3rd best car this season. I still haven't worked out Audi. They've been very inconsistent, although obviously they did apply an upgrade and brought that to the Italian Grand Prix. And they do seem to be very quick now, as we just saw then. You might have seen the onboard with Sainz, you know, Fernando Alonso simply disappearing off down the racetrack into the distance. He's got so much pace here. The 2 Spanish drivers occupying 1 and 2 in this race at the moment. Logan Sargent has a time penalty. You may have just seen that flash up as well. We're now riding on board with George Russell. It's very hard to keep up with all the action that's going on, as we are now starting the final lap here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit in that Ineos Mercedes. The British driver at the moment in hot pursuit of the Audi Sport of Lando Norris. Fernando Alonso, meanwhile, now is coming up. Oh, and there's another safety car. Oh my word, this is absolutely mental. George Russell's out though. Notice that on the left-hand side. And that means it's going to finish under safety car. So in 15 laps, we've had 3 safety cars and 1 VSC. It's amazing, you know, the first race was absolutely chaotic as well with multiple safety cars. Then we wait all season, and now we've had back-to-back races with safety cars. Although crossing the line now, Fernando Alonso has won, because he managed to cross the line with a more than 5-second gap to Carlos Sainz. I don't quite know how that worked, because the gap was 3.5 when the safety car was deployed, so... yeah, I guess Fernando Alonso has won. I guess that was deserved. I did think he would probably beat me. And just a creepy thing to bear in mind. The last time I got pole was Baku, the winner, Fernando Alonso. My next pole here in Singapore, and look who the winner is. Just a little bit of deja vu there to bear in mind. Anyway, Carlos Sainz crosses the line in P2, Esteban Ocon in P3. That's a mental race. 4 DNFs, but I feel so bad for Russell. That's back-to-back DNFs when he was in decent points-paying positions, especially at Monza. He was in the fight for the podium. And then, of course, I think in Australia, when the opening race of the season with the safety car, Russell was one of the drivers who retired. So he's had so much bad luck this season. So the fact that he's so far down in the championship is kind of not necessarily his fault, because he's been robbed of, I'd say, probably even go as far as saying 15 points, which would propel him up a few positions in the championship. But what a chaotic race that was. There's the podium in Singapore. Regrettably, both my championship rivals on the podium scoring good points this weekend, so I've got it all to do. I put myself in a really difficult situation. I will come out all guns blazing in the Japanese Grand Prix, trying to see if we can outscore my rivals. But not only that, we have to win, basically. Chaotic race that was, though. 3 safety cars, 1 VSC. It's almost like buses. You wait ages for one to turn up, and then we've had back-to-back races with an appearance from the safety car. So I'll leave you guys with that. Also want to say well done to Ferrari, a 5-6. That's by far their best points haul of the season. Lance Stroll managed to get P10. I did mention Tsunoda, who didn't pit. He started on the hard compound tyres. I noticed that he never went into the pits and finished on the hards. So yeah, Red Bull seemed to be keen to making him commit to a one-stop in every Grand Prix. So I guess every time we'll just get faced with a penalty. But in the championship, you can see the damage might have been done, because I'm 20 points now behind my teammate Esteban Ocon. I've got it all to do, and 22 points off the lead. That's going to be an awful lot to turn around. In the constructors, the leads come down a bit as well, with Aston Martin outscoring us today. So again, I'll need to try and, help my team out again in the next Grand Prix to see if we can increase that lead once again. But that's it for today's video. Definitely smash a like and click subscribe if you enjoyed all the chaos that unfolded in Singapore. And if you're enjoying this series, we're almost getting towards 900 subs and 1k now, so let's keep the support coming. Remember to follow me on Instagram, join my Discord server, and I'll see you guys all next time.